Welcome to the Parker Daniels Show, where we make changes, no excuses. That's right. Before I commence, that's what I was saying. I want to send a what up to my co-host, Kim Daniels. What up, Kim? Look, I know that you all know that I'm a big Tiger fan, and I did something that I shouldn't have done. And I went against my Tigers last week, and I said that they were not going to win, and they pulled it out against Auburn. So all this week I'm eating crow sandwiches. That's how we say it down here. And I won't ever pull against my Tigers again. So big up to the Tigers, and I hope that they beat Louisiana Tech, Alabama, Florida, and all those other teams. But that's not what we're all about. Today we're going to talk about blind people parenting. I know we touched on that subject before, but we're going to hit you all again with that topic, and we're going to go much more into detail about it. We're going to bring you someone who's going to talk about the odds and ends, the ups and downs, the positives, the negatives, and just going to give you the real about what it's like parenting someone, kids, being a blind parent, that is. So without all that talking and further ado, I'm going to bring you someone all the way from Miami, home of Trick Daddy, home of Rick Ross, home of Trina, home of all those people. I think MC Shadi was from there some time ago. But without further ado, because I'm filibustering, I'm excited about this guest today. We're going to bring on our guest to the Parker Daniels Show. Say what up to the people.
Hey, people.
Tell them what your name is.
I am Crystal.
Crystal, okay. Crystal, you know the topic. You know what it's all about. So without further delay, tell us how it is as a single mother. Am I correct to say that? Safe to say that?
Yes.
How it is as a single mother raising your kids, also being a person who is visually impaired. Run it.
Well, I do. I'm a mother of 3 children. I have a 17-year-old, I have a 13-year-old, and I have a 9-year-old. The oldest is I have 2 girls and a boy. It's not always smooth sailing. It is a whole lot of bumps. There's a lot of bad days, and there's some good days. The majority of them are good than bad.
Okay, we're going to focus on that later on about the good and the bad days. The question I want to ask you next is about the father, and without getting too personal, which, you know where I am. Is the father in their lives?
No, not in a little bit, not in the least bit.
So, Crystal, is he in your life or is he not? Just come on.
No.
Okay.
No, not in mine, not in theirs.
Okay. So it has to be extra hard, actually, to try to raise these kids on your own without a male figure, right?
Yeah, it has its downsides. It does, yeah.
Well, tell us. I mean, as a person who is visually impaired, first of all, before you go to that extreme, give us a little insight on your condition, if you care to do so. I hope you do, because that's why you're here. So let it be known.
Okay. Well, a little bit about it. I was born with congenital cataract and glaucoma. When I was a couple of days old, they removed the cataract, and I continuously have the glaucoma, which is high eye pressure. Basically, it's like blood pressure, but it's eye pressure that constantly stays in the eye, that is you pretty much getting rid of.
Okay. What else? Can you go more into detail? I mean, how? So actually, can you see? Can you not see? What?
I was able to see until I was out of both of my eyes until I was 15, and my eye pressure was pretty much high. It was in the, I want to say, if I can remember correctly, it was in probably the 40s or 50s, which is pretty bad for people with glaucoma. And so I went to have a surgery where they put a stent in the back of your eye and I want to call it a shield. I can't remember the exact medical term for it. And they went ahead and placed it in the back of my eye when I was 15. And after the surgery, like I want to say like 10 hours later, I started hemorrhaging in the eye. And that's what caused me to lose the vision in my right eye. And when I was 26, I'll say 26, 27, the eye pressure got too bad in my left eye, and it started pretty much, the pressure just in the eyes just started eating the muscle, the tissue away that's in the eye. So it's deteriorating as time goes by.
Okay. And the reason why I asked you to go in lengthy detail is because there are a lot of people out there that may be dealing with glaucoma, or there may be some that may not have any knowledge as to what it is and what it actually does. So thank you for enlightening us on that. Now, getting back to the subject at hand, tell us, as a person who is visually impaired, how it is, or what do you do from day to day as far as getting your kids together, the functions, like taking them to different events, doctor's appointments, things like that. Tell us really how hard it is, because some people feel, I've talked with some people, they make things seem as though it's easy. I want you to get down to the nitty gritty, as they say. It's an old word, and let us know how it really is. Go on.
It's not easy at all, because there are days when you have to take them to the doctor, whether they're newborns or whether they're kids around my age and around their age. I'm sorry, and it's not a pretty picture, because you have days when it's like, okay, well, you have to go here. And paratransit, which is pretty much what we call down here STS. Maybe in different states they're called something different. But that's the special transportation services that we have to use. And they decide to not want to come if they don't want to. They can be late. It doesn't matter what they want to do. And they just don't care. So, if you're depending on other people, and then you got those people who decide whether they want to get up on that day and take you, or be a slacker and be like, well, I don't have to do it. It's pretty much hard. It's not.
So basically, becoming, it makes you more dependent in a sense. Even though you appear to be an independent person, like you have to depend on people to do certain things that you have no control over, right?
Yeah, you depending on them, but then the more dependent you are on them, the more they make it harder for you when you decide you want to, spread your wings.
Okay. So with that being said, speaking of dependency and independency, did you receive a great deal of help from your family members?
I would have to say my mother is my biggest help. A lot. She is, she kind of understands it, but that whole it's only to a certain extent. But then it's the sympathy card. You don't get used to. You're tired of the sympathy card. You've been through it your whole life, so you don't want the sympathy card. You just want people to just treat you like you're equal, and being that way.
Okay. Well, I've talked with you off camera, and I've heard how you talk to your kids and you reprimand them. They respect you pretty good, so you at least you have that down pat, and I applaud you for that. Has there ever been a time where you said, dealing with your condition and dealing with raising kids, 3 kids on your own, have you had a point in your life when you said, well, I'm fed up, or I really wish I wouldn't have made this decision, considering the fact that I am a person who has an impairment? Has there ever been that time?
No, actually, the only time I honestly would say I've never sat here and said, well, I wish I never had my kids, because I look at them as they have made me a better person, as far as me having self-pity on myself, or, being like, well, I give up, I'm going to give everybody what they want. It was more of a uplifting, they're my motivation day in and day out. There are times when they drive me crazy, but there are times when I'm just like, I have asked a couple times, I've asked God, why? Like, why me?
That's interesting. I like that. I really do. I told y'all we're gonna get down deep into her story, and she's gonna give it to us raw and uncut. Because as I mentioned, a lot of people that I've spoken with, they've come to me and they've talked, and we've had round the table discussions, and they made it seem as though it's kind of hard. And I have a 4-year-old, and believe me, he smothers me to death and whatnot. So it's hard to really, because sometimes I want to take him out to various places that I can't do. So we just make up stuff to do in the house and whatnot. But he's slowly realizing that I am totally blind. So as we segue into the children aspect, is there one child out of the 3 that has become more attached to you and has said, well, look, Mom, I'm gonna be there for you, or that knows your situation and is willing to take that extra step, help you out?
Yeah, I would have to say it's my 13-year-old son. He's more hands-on. He wants to look out for me. He has his moments, being that he's a teenager now, but he's more helpful. But then he has his moments where he's like, well, I don't feel like doing it right now. Like, he won't say it to me, but he'll have his moments where he'll take his sweet old precious old time and decide to come and do anything. If I tell him to, unless I have to really get on his case for him to actually decide for him to move faster, for him to help me, or anything like that.
What about the 17-year-old as a female? What has she provided in terms of the love and the support, being as though you are visually impaired? What is has she?
It's with her. It's a little more different.
Be honest.
Yeah, I am. She's a little more harder. Like, what I mean harder is, she's 17, so she feels as though she should be able to go hang out and be with her friends. I mean, I've never wanted to sit here and tell either one of my 2 older ones that they have to pause their life to attend to me.
That's interesting.
Being that I'm their mother, so I never want them to ever feel as though they have to base their life as of taking care of me, because I went through the training and everything to know how to live my life, to cohabit in other environments and being able to go out and do things on my own. So I never once want them to feel as though they have to not live their lives. I mean, but there are moments where I need them to understand and help me out sometimes when I am having difficulty seeing and everything. My 17-year-old, she's not too fond of it and she's not too keen, but I have to get her, I'm still trying to get her to understand that, this is what happens when, this is what it is. I didn't ask for this, this is just what God gave me, I'm playing the hand that I was dealt, and there's nothing else I can do about it. The only thing you can do is pray about it and just help me, in life. But
that's what's up, man. So the people want to know just briefly, because I had heard someone that was totally blind that had been having problems with their children, and one specific event was getting homework done. How are you as far as trying to get homework done for your little kids, the 9-year-old, the 13-year-old, and making sure it's done properly and making sure that they're doing their homework? So if you can briefly tell us how that is, I gratefully appreciate it.
It's a challenge because they want to go play, they want to go do everything else under the sun other than do their homework. So I have this thing where I basically let them know ahead of time, if you have homework, you need to have it done, or there's consequences, and it doesn't even have to be with me. It can be in school, because down where I'm from, they have they basically somewhat, I think, grade you off of your homework. If the homework is correctly, if you participate in class and things like that. So I let them know ahead of time. Don't fib. I don't allow my kids to say lie at all. So I tell them, don't fib to me. If you have homework, do it. The sooner you do your homework, then you're able to go do whatever it is that you do. Be on your phone, play on your game system. And I've had I've had moments where they're like, I did my homework.
Oh, okay. So is it like the trust factor? Y'all have to trust each other. They have to trust the fact that you're going to follow up, even though you're visually impaired. And you know they're gonna do what they're supposed to do, and you have to trust the fact that they're gonna do it, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So are there any techniques as we wrap up this interesting video? Are there any techniques that you can suggest to other individuals who are visually impaired that they can use that'll make their situation go smoothly?
The best technique I have for anyone, especially when it's around with kids that, want to play and do everything when it comes to homework, you put one of my methods. Okay, you did your homework, you don't have it? Give it a week. I'll give it 3 days. When you look at their grade, when you go to the portal or however they may have it, there's a portal where you can go and check their grades. If their grade was one way, if it was a B one day and it turned out to be a C or a D, then you automatically know they didn't do their homework. So that's a punishment in itself, timeout, whatever you want to call it. The best advice I can give anyone who is, I'm so sorry, it's a helicopter going in the background.
Don't worry about it. We rolling. Go ahead.
The best thing I can tell someone when it comes to, having, kids that are blind or visually impaired, and they, have their moments where, everyone wants to play the parent when it comes to you being the parent. Don't worry about it. If you found something that works for you, stick to it. Don't let no one try to change your routine or anything, but every day is not the same routine. It's always going to be a bump on that day. It's always going to be something that blocks you or, hits you over the head or flies over your head. It's just, an everyday thing, everyday life. You have to just roll with the punches. There are people that are going to be stereotyping, and the best thing you could do is just, show them, because we already have to prove to society that we're able to have children. We're not science experiments. We're able to be parents, and we're able to, live in the world and be human and be treated as equal. So,
okay. Well, with that being said, because I'm not going to even ask you any more questions because you've summed it up in so much. You, what college did you attend?
I'm sorry?
I know this has nothing to do with anything. I just off the cuff. What college did you attend?
I was going to Bethune-Cookman, and I left and I went to Miami-Dade College.
Okay, cool. That's what's up. So let me tell everybody that I enjoyed the interview, and I know that you should have, because she brought out some very poignant points that's going to last for a while if you take heed to what she has gone through and what she told you. Because like I said, it's not at all easy. It's not an easy task, and that's why I want to bring her on here so she can really give you the realness in terms of what how it is raising children as a visually impaired person. So with that being said, I want to appreciate the opportunity to have you on her, and hopefully in the future may bring you back and whatnot. But continue for you all to subscribe and hit the like button and share and follow and tell everyone about the Parker Daniels Show. So with that being said, Crystal, can you tell everybody once again a good, something within, I guess, 10 seconds, something positive?
Just keep your head up and live life. Be the best parent you know how to be, and the best blind person you could be as well.
Okay. Thank you so much. And hey, give a big shout out to Trick Dad out there in Miami, all right?
I surely will.
All right, I'm going to holler at you in a